Well, it has been really a while and a long time since nifanye kila huwa nakifanya kila kukicha, especially in terms of politics and what is happening with the Kenyan politics, especially at this time. Now,
mimi nawaambia wale jamaa Kingiz, punguzeni kiburi, punguzeni matusi. Mambo itawalemea mkiendelea vile mnaendelea, na mimi niko tayari, kwani nyinyi mkipima watu wa Kiambu.
Great.
Mkipima.
It was such an intro, and again, we are back. Now, let's set our eyes on what really happened today and what we actually saw in the current the happening, especially in terms of politics, especially what happened in Kiambu, and after Kiambu, we have what happened again in those NDC and SDC meetings today. The SDC today, you can really analyze that whatever was expected never happened. And at the end of it all, you'll get to understand that finally, when something it's about to happen, it sadly doesn't happen because of fear. So this is what people were expecting, especially from the ODM and from the people from different places. They were waiting. And the truth is that they were waiting to see Sifuna out of ODM today. Na kuna kitu nimesoma pahali kilikuwa kinasema kwamba unajua wakati mwanafunzi mmoja ambaye ni chopi na mwingine ambaye si chopi wanafukuzwa shule, wakirudi kuna kitu ambacho kinahitajika, maybe wafanyiwe punishments kali because of discipline. Alafu wakati mnafika shuleni napata kwamba hiyo discipline haipewi kwa mtu fulani, sababu hiyo mtu fulani akipewa kutakuwa na mihemko fulani. So that's what we expect, and that's actually what we have seen in ODM today. We expect Ososi together with Sifuna to be out of ODM today. We expect them to say that Sifuna is no longer with us and will not be with us forever. We expected ODM to say that now onwards, Sifuna is not part of ODM and we now have someone taking his place. Remember, let me remind you, let me take you back for you to understand. Wakati Wanga na Junet walikuwa kwa interview juzi na at Citizen, they were asked, and actually wali keep on referring the Deputy Secretary General as the Deputy Secretary General, not as they had actually said that she was to assume office of the Secretary General, that is Edwin Sifuna. Now, whatever they went to do today in that delegates meeting was not that effective, because the person we wanted them to tell to actually chase from the team of ODM is one Edwin Sifuna, and they can't dare that because they believe that in Nairobi itakuwa kwamba kutakuwa kubaya kwa ODM, kutakuwa kubaya kwa ODM kupasua, because without Sifuna and Babu, it is a problem. They never expelled Babu from ODM, they never expelled Sifuna from ODM. And that membership, and again, the leadership, they never had someone to stand in for Sifuna in that space because they fear one thing: ODM will lose popularity. Actually, they need Sifuna more than Sifuna needs ODM. So currently, kile ambacho unaangalia in the politics, especially for what happened today, is what actually it never happened, because they actually came for only one person. They only came for Ososi, and Ososi was the only person who was ousted from the ODM leadership and not actually being expelled. But I want you to understand this. This girl, Winnie Odinga, was very choosy with the words that she used. And pale mwisho, there is a word that you should underline: sikuwa nina leo, sikuja kuchoma leo. Those words, they mean a lot. Now, this is what they mean. Winnie Odinga came late in that meeting. She came late, and immediately after some few minutes, she was given time to talk. Number one, what might have happened: she was compelled, she was convinced, she was urged to actually show herself in that SDC meeting. She was asked that, please, my daughter, because Oburu was there being the uncle, please, my daughter, come and actually show yourself. And you saw what people did when they saw Winnie Odinga in that meeting. Of course, the meeting was mobilized and people were paid, people were given caps, and that's what happened. Easy propaganda, this is what happened. This is what happened. So, what happened is that wherever they saw Winnie in that building, people were happy, people were rejoicing, because without Winnie, key family member in that meeting was to be chaotic and of no sense. So Winnie Odinga being in that meeting, even by her show, that means the meeting had some impact. But the real impact is had in her talk. That is to tell you that whatever she said, that si kuja kuchoma hapa leo, it meant that, one, she had many things to say, but she never said anything. Okay, wherever she actually got into that meeting, so wherever, sorry for the interruption, actually was doing something, sorry. So this is what I was saying. Whenever Winnie Odinga appeared there, what she said is very essential. Si kuja kuchoma hapa. So si kuja kuchoma hapa inamaanisha she had a lot to say, because in that speech, because actually a speech is not something that is from the heart. It is something that is read. Sawa? But now a speech, okay, you can accept a speech because you feel like, this speech is going with the way I want. But Winnie had something to say, because at the end, the feeling was clear. She was saying, staki kuchoma leo, ama sikuja kuchoma leo. So it means there was some feeling inside that speech, because you can hear her saying that musifukuze watu kwa chama. And again, she said about maandamano, na feel kwamba maandamano it's part of us getting some freedom. Number 3, you can hear her saying kwamba we need to have a cohesion and we need to talk for us to be together, because you know it is really essential for us to good. Now, I'm saying it is essential for them to deal with their internal meetings, for them to solve whatever that is really happening. Now, get down. What happened is that she said, still in that statement, that she believes because Odinga, that is Oburu Odinga, is used to say yeye ndio kijana barabara. So he feels that he can give the youth the freedom to express themselves. And that means there's one thing. In the middle of that talk, Winnie Odinga stated that youth are not they are not actually weaponized for them to shout wherever you need them. Hear their voices. That is what she said. That you should not use them to shout. They're not used to like a weapon to shout. You should actually hear the voice of the youth. That was the message that Winnie Odinga had to put across. Now, at that line ya kusema sitaki kuchoma, it made sense to me kwamba maybe there are so many things that are the many things in her heart that she never really expressed, especially for today's meeting. So let me get to this. We know who Winnie Odinga is. We know what she can tell, and especially when she had promised people at Jacaranda kwamba tutakuja tuambie, na akasisitiza kwamba huyu Sifuna continues to be the Secretary General of ODM. And mind you, the reason to why, no nisikiza vizuri, the reason to why they are taking these things seriously and slowly is because they know who President William Ruto is. They know. And by the way, it is not by chance kuona the former SG actually coming over to talk in that meeting. Unajua ninaongelea nani? Ababu na Mwamba. Ababu na Mwamba is the ex-Secretary General who was in that team before Baba selected Edwin Sifuna. So si bahati mbaya kuona ex-SG kushow up na hajawahi kuwa kwa meeting yeyote ya ODM. Na mimi si mchawi wala si mwongo, but I'll tell you the fact kwamba this same guy called Omwamba, or rather Ababu na Mwamba, might in one way or the other return to ODM. Na si bahati mbaya akwe SG, because after they had done all they did, ukweli ni kwamba Edwin Sifuna came clear. I will never, you get that point? I will never be your Secretary General. I was only a Secretary General to the late Raila Amolo Odinga, only that. So expect them to make a move, and this move will ensure that ODM is buried and dead with Oburu Odinga. I think my words are kind of harsh, but again, that's the fact. Kwamba the chama cha ODM will be buried. There will be no perspective ya kuenda mbele. it will actually die. Because Sifuna is out. Babu is going to be out. James Orengo is going to be out. And in many ways, they did. In so many ways, they wanted to frustrate Linda Mwananchi. They wanted to frustrate from the morning. Imagine, mtu umeamuka kutoka kwako, alafu unapiga tu simu. Nataka hao polisi waingie huko. Wahakikisha hakuna mtu anaingia ili kuongea masuala ya mwananchi. Imagine. Ati sasa naona kuna Dorothy amesema hi to you. Ati mtu anakuja tu, anaingia, alafu anasema hao watu wasiingie, waanze kuongea maneno yao kama they have got a different meeting. Tusiwaone. Ati hata with them trying to frustrate them, hawakufanikiwa. They tried, they fought, they came in numbers, they came with malori makubwa. Actually, I saw this post through the MP Bomachoge Borabu. That is when I saw all those when I saw all those posts. Dorothy, which people? The government. I think they were trying to frustrate the Linda Mwananchi team. They were being frustrated this morning, and with those frustrations, askari hadi kuingia kwa hiyo hall ya watu wetu wa Linda Mwananchi, bado wakasimama kama jeshi. That is the jeshi being led by, that is 1, we have Orengo, 2, Sifuna, 3, Babu. Imagine 3 people and 4 Ososi. The four people, they made sure that this thing is going viral. Alafu kitu inanifurahisha sana ni ati to a point kwamba Ichungwa, on the other hand, they were in Kiambu, wakidhani watapanga vile hao watu wa Linda Mwananchi watakuwa frustrated wao wenyewe in Kiambu, alipata kuwa frustrated. Now I want you to hear through this voice ambayo President Ruto was trying actually to talk today. Mambo ilichemuka. Yani leo ndio ameona kwamba ground imekasirika, ground imekataa kabisa. Like, you know, they're not happy with him, they're not with him. Yani mambo ni mbaya. I want you to hear to this voice ya huyu anaitwa we call him anaitwa Ichungwa alikuwa anadangana Raila, anadangana rais kwamba eti ground iko sawa. Leo akiwa ground Thank you. There is a point ambayo amemake sure hapa. Ameimake. Na unajua hii ni kama mtego. Ichungwa alikuwa anasema hivi. Kila mtu atachaguliwa kulingana na kazi ambayo ameifanya. Kama umesikia point, ndugu yangu, dada yangu, you will understand where Kimani Ichungwa is coming from. They were in Wamatangi's place. Wamatangi amekuwa fought not once, not twice, not thrice, several times with the current government. Lakini wanapoenda huko wanadhani kwamba Wamatangi ni mtu wa kutishika, ni mtu wa kusumbuana. So leo Kimani Ichungwa na ile kiherehere yake ya kuambia president ground iko sawa. Wao walifrustrate Linda Mwananchi wakiwaambia wafungiwe gate, lakini wakaingia wakafaulu wakamaliza meeting vizuri. Lakini wao sasa, without anyone mobilizing anyone in Kiambu, ndugu yangu, waliona kubaya, like people were just against them. Yani anajaribu kusema eti watu tutam ya Ruto wanakataa, wanasema wewe enda vile ulikuja. Wewe ndio umekuwa frustrate ndugu yako Gachagua, enda vile ulikuja. Imagine to a point unakataliwa na wewe ni wa hiyo maeneo. Sasa point ambayo inanifurahisha hapo ni kwamba amesema hivi, utachaguliwa kulingana na vile ulivyofanya kazi. Na ni ukweli. Sasa tukuulize Kemani, vile wewe umekuja hapo, ukiangalia ni kazi gani mmefanya except ukimbishana na gavana wa Kiambu? And by the way, kukua booed, there must be a reason. One reason might be that one, kwamba umekuwa booed sababu ya mambo ulifanya. Mnawekea mtu mwingine mambo, mnamwekea A, mnamwekea B, mnamwekea C, yani mambo mingi. But wewe sasa ulikuwa heckled until ulijiforce, like I'll make sure ameforce hiyo conversation ndio asikike juu. Actually of course ako na speakers ziko pale, mapieni kali, so lazima angeongea akiambia Prezo, unajua hii maneno iko sawa hapa, ground iko fiti. Lakini leo ndio alijua ground haiko fiti. It is sliding day and night, day and night, day and night. Now there is someone here who was saying this way. Kuna jamaa alikuwa ananiambia hivi, na sasa kama gavana wa Kisii County amesema yeye project eti yeye akona yani akona hiyo authority ya kusema project eti Matiang'i ni project yake. Mimi alisema hiyo kitu nikatingiza tu kitu nikasema hapana. Sasa kama ni project yake, anyway to assume tu hiyo story juu sasa hiyo hata inaweza fanya nikasirike vibaya, sababu hiyo mambo hata ilete utamu. Tumalizie kwa hii. Tukisalia kwenye Trevor Umbija, Gachagua story and Trevor, ukiangalia, because unajua Gachagua is a good man in terms of timing. Alikuwa amefanya timing, akasema Ramogi mkuje tuongee. That was the very time in a president alikuwa ameenda Nyanza, especially Lake Basin counties. And then wakati walienda pale, unajua alisema aje? Kuja tuongee. But with what Trevor alikuwa anafanya, mimi hata nilishangaa, huyu ni Trevor mwenye nilikuwa nimezoea tu mwenye anafananga ma interview tamu hivi. For the very first time, from my opinion, I feel yule mse alikuwa tu bias. Imagine unauliza mtu mambo ya vitina, because actually I know wherever mtu amekuja kwa interview, unafaa kumu-interview on issues. And if it's all about leadership, ongea leadership. Of course issues zinahitajika ziongelewe sana. Na pia on some moshene, because that is moshene nimeongelewa kwa mitaa, of course utaiongelea kidogo, but you will start with it. Itakuwa inakuja tu once, si inakuja sana. And again, kuna kitu tulikuwa tunafundishwa kwa ati kuna turn taking whenever it comes to questioning. Sasa hawa journalists wawili ndio nilishangaa hawakuwa prepared, juu kila mtu anataka ongee at that time, kila mtu, because it's all about turn taking. I have my question, nauliza, and this other guy anauliza, I have my question, anauliza. Lakini hawa watu, hata ukiangalia Obija, he was actually chatting with someone, alikuwa anachat, hata concentration yake ilikuwa on vitina tu. That's why that actually that conversation wasn't that effective, and I don't feel kama inaweza kuwa that effective because it was all about branding someone and making someone feel like, look like he's bad, he is this way, he is this way. Actually, he was trying to make the conversation look like it's a weird conversation. But I think Gachagua always knows how to put his points. And again, it's true. Ukikuwa kwamba uko na allegations kwa mtu na aliongea na ni madai yake, akikwambia kitu, you move to another point as much as see libel and see defamation. That is it. And actually kuna common sense tunasemanga kuna facts and kuna opinions. So kuna kitu ene alikuwa anameka kama facts na kuna kitu alikuwa anameka kama opinion. That's true. So on the interview ene niliona pale, he was educating people. And actually when he was educating people, the goodness kama alitumia lugha ya taifa. Sasa swali kama tribe, being tribal. This is the same language that the president was using against Raila Odinga when he was his competitor. That the same script he is trying to use on people who are his competitors, especially when he's trying to see a large community being against him. The same thing he used to see when a large community in Nyanza was actually against him. This Nyanza was against him. It was saying, we want Raila Odinga. And actually you've seen, Nyanza has always been with Raila Odinga for the longest. But he used to say that this person ni Mkabila until the time he died. And this the time he saw that this man is essential. Now he came out to wash him. But what I'm happy is that he died with him washing his name, because he had branded him so many names. But you know what I love, I used to love about Rao is that I used to love the way he never used to put someone in his own art. Like hakuwa anapenda kuweka mtu kwa roho eti sasa akude kumfanyia kitendo, na hata huwezi sikia akifanyia mtu kitendo. He helped many people who actually learned political science courtesy of him, who he educated in different platforms, in different schools, but he never bragged. Usaidiwe na umoja huyu ambaye yuko hapa, hata social media yote utaonekana kwamba ulisaidiwa, hata kama ni 1,000. Unaona hizi pesa zinazunguka hapa nyota, lazima onekane ndio pia upewe hiyo pesa. Asipoonekana huwezi pewa hizo pesa. That is what Kenya is. That's what we experience. But now, I want to finish by saying this. If ODM's function today, SDC, was to be effective, they were to remove one Edwin Sifuna from that seat. They were to do that. If they were men and women enough, they were to remove that man from that office na waseme wanataka kuchagua mtu mwingine like they did the other time, wakimsema kwamba they have suspended him because of unconstitutionalism. Yule madamu alikuwa anashindwa kuongea. Ni kama yule, unajua yule tulianza kumuimitate, ni kama yule mama alikuwa anasema yutufu. Na yule mama amesemanga yutufu. At least yule mama anaweza hata tunaweza mpigia makofi juu enewe ina make sense. Ni alikuwa anamaanisha yutufu. So hiyo yutufu tulikuwa tunasikia, lakini a very learned woman, ambaye she's very much learned, ambaye amesoma kabisa, alafu amewekwa as the deputy secretary general, hawezi kusoma unconstitutionalism. Surely huyo ndio SG wenye wangeka leo, eneo walikuwa wanajionea huruma, sababu hiyo clip yake ilitrend. Alafu na Jeff Koinange hawezi sahau kumwambia wewe, you are in that office illegal. Sasa Omayo vile ni Omayo enyewe akasema wait, very soon ilikuwa ni leo. That is what we expected, but enyewe vile ODM ilifana ilicheza kama yeye. So the meeting today, I can just say from where I am today, is that we are saying or rather I am saying that the effectiveness of this meeting was actually never felt, because Ososi, with the kind of mobilization that he has, of course, is effective in ODM, but them removing him from that office is not that effective. Like they were to remove Sifuna from that same office. They were to dare remove Sifuna from that office. Ndio tuone Power TV niliona imetengenezwa. Kuna power. Yani we Mungu. So far ODM have done nothing, because the same people who are the deputies, they remained in the same position. The only person who was removed from that position is only Ososi. But I expected them to say that Babu Owino is no longer our member in Nairobi. Wangesema hiyo. That is when I was to accept that they are man enough. And that is it. Now, finally, I want to finish with this. This is what I want to finish with. And as I finish it, I want you to understand. And actually, I want you to listen to this, because this is what I want to talk. This is the very thing that I want to talk about, especially for today. Now, this is what President Ruto said today. Between the united opposition and me, who is a thief? Wewe uko hapo. Wewe uko hapo. Na mimi niko hapa. Wewe unadhani hiyo swali nani anafaa kuulizwa? Ni president anafaa kuuliza ama ni watu? Because actually politics is all about defamation. I've come to realize that actually with the politics it's all about defamation. And actually all about defamation and branding, especially when you don't have truth. You just say, Sasa, thief. So we are speaking of having thieves. Na tuko na askari. We are still speaking of thieves. Na tuko na pesa ambayo imeibiwa kutoka kwa citizen, ambayo kweli tunajua nani anakuwa na hiyo citizen, ambayo hiyo pesa imekuwa transferred to one account. We are still talking about thieves. Wakati tulielewa history ya NYS, wakati kina Waiguru walikuwa kwa hiyo ministry, alafu pia kuna msemo alikuwa affiliated, hata the late Raila Odinga alimention wakati wa pesa za NYS ziliibiwa. NYS ilikuwa ni scandal lingine iliwaihiti hii Kenya sana, and we are still saying who is the thief. Now, where you as a Kenyan, you'll have to actually judge this. Now, who is the thief? When SHA is missing some 25 billion as per what was said, and again we are still talking about the thief. Well, the sitting government hasn't reacted to anything pertaining the theft that has been seen, especially in that SHA money that was lost. So we are still talking about thieves. Who is a thief? Because actually this question was put across to the people who are in Kiambu, especially when they went there with the Ichungwa, and they actually saw what they have never seen. Wansemanga, they saw shege. They were shown shege. Waliona shida. So we are still talking about theft. Theft. Real theft. Whiz. And the one who is asking is the president. Now, the solution is this. President,
Tired of unreliable
you know who the thief is, right? Well, Let us start from NYS. After NYS, let us come. Because actually we need those money which were actually stolen. Let us get to Emurdikir Shamba, which people were killed, blood was shed. That Shamba, you know. President, we want such kind of answers. Now, we want to hear the story yenye mnasema ni propaganda ya hapa watu wa Kericho. These are my opinions and I want them to be answered. Hawa watu wa Kericho wenye walikuwa wamezikwa hapo, mkiendelea kutuambia mambo ya Yala. There's another fresh thing here. So you are expecting us to sahau yenye iko hapa mkitukumbusha ya huko River Yala. The same guy Ichungwa. Theft. Now then, we want the accountability of the money Zasha. Now, we want the government to tell us, or rather to show us the how do we call it? The debt that we owe. The debt that we are having as Kenya. How many trillions do we have? How much have we paid? The transparency in terms of audit. That is what we want. Because we don't want theft. Sindio? Yeah. Finally, we want to have the treasury functional, whereby they will be telling us how much has been used with the Nyota fund and how much is remaining and how much do you want to spend and how much you've spent, because hii swali ni swali iliulizwa na hiyo swali ilishindwa kabisa kujibiwa. So we are asking why kwamba tunasema juu ya wizi and actually we are seeing wizi na hiyo wizi na kwa assumed tukibrand watu wengine wezi. So mkena kama mimi, sababu our president put this question across that between the united opposition and me, who is the thief? That is President William Ruto putting the question across in Kiambu County. Then the same question I'll put across. What have you done to those people who have stolen that kind of money in SHA? And again, can you give us the data on how the money has been used with the Nyota fund? Can you give us can you help us find the audit on the debt that Kenya or other countries? That is it for today. Thank you so much for following, and thank you so much for commenting. For those who have been commenting, we have Tawin Zawadi, we have Ashley Kaluki, we have Mama Firi, we have Dorothy. Thank you so much for actually following my content today. Let us meet tomorrow and the current, actually the coming days, and as we get to share the content of politics. My name is Isaac Lenard, and I'm blessed to have you here. If you want any streaming, if you want any coverage, just contact me, and my number is down there in the description side. And again, lastly, if you want to support me, you can as well see the description. That is, whatever you need to do is to check on the number, which is an M-Pesa number. You need to check either the till, and again, you can check on that account number of my bank. Thank you so much for following today. God bless you and God be with you. Let's meet again. And again, let's say the meeting of ODM wasn't effective. Goodbye.